This happened earlier this year. I haven't told anyone, not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't figure out how to explain it without sounding paranoid. At the time, I was doing a short internship in a mid-sized city. Nothing dramatic, just a few months away from home. The apartment I stayed in was plain, temporary housing, basic furniture, and barely enough space to turn around. To save money, I parked in this 5-story garage about a block away. It was always half lit, full of blind corners and flickering lights. The kind of place that makes your skin crawl for no reason. Most of the security cameras were either dead or just for show, but no one cared. It was cheap, and parking options were limited. One evening, I left work just after 7:30. The sun was dipping below the skyline, everything bathed in this dull orange haze. I took the stairs up to the second level, and that's when I saw it. A red Toyota, parked directly across from my car. Inside, someone was sitting still behind the wheel. Nothing about him moved at first, not even a glance in my direction. But the second I stepped out from behind a pillar, he turned, fast. His eyes locked on mine, and this huge grin spread across his face. Not polite, not friendly. It was the kind of smile that sticks with you. Way too familiar for someone I'd never seen before. I didn't know him, I was certain of that. And something about how he looked at me wasn't right. I looked away, kept walking like I hadn't noticed, slid into my car, heart racing harder than I'd admit. Then I heard the sound. A car door opening behind me. I checked the mirror. He was stepping out. Slowly, no phone in his hand, still smiling and still staring. I locked the doors, threw the car in reverse, and pulled out without waiting to see what he'd do. He didn't chase me, just stood there, watching me leave. And 5 days later, it got worse. I stopped at this coffee shop I liked before work, a quiet spot I hit every other morning. It was just after 8 a.m. Sun was up, street was calm, nothing felt out of place. I sat by the front window, scrolling on my phone until they called my name. When my drink was ready, I headed back to the car. Coffee in one hand, phone in the other. Didn't even notice the red Toyota across the street until I was halfway there. Then I glanced up, just a passing look, and felt my chest tighten. He was sitting in the driver's seat, leaning forward slightly, like he'd been there for a while. No movement, no distraction, just that same fixed stare aimed right at me. There was no pretending it wasn't him. And when our eyes met, something shifted in his face. That smile stretched even wider, like he wanted me to see him. Like this was all part of some plan I was never meant to understand. A cold pressure hit my stomach. I almost started running towards the car, didn't even want to turn around to look at him again. Just drove like I was fine, like my heart wasn't trying to tear its way out of my chest. But I checked the mirror, then I checked it again, and again, all the way home. A whole week went by, and nothing happened. No weird sightings or red Toyotas around. I started to think maybe it was over. Then one night, it was a little after 10, I was at my desk eating cold takeout, half watching some YouTube video with one headphone in. It was quiet, calm, almost boring. And then my phone lit up with an airdrop request. No name, just that blank gray icon. The message read, "Do you feel safe in that room?" There was a photo attached. It took me a second to even register what I was looking at. But it was me, right there at the desk. Fork halfway to my mouth. Same posture. The picture had been taken through the window. I turned so slowly it didn't feel like my body was listening to me. The blinds behind me were cracked open just enough, maybe an inch. I must have forgotten to close them all the way. That tiny gap was all he needed. I snapped them shut as quickly as I could, and I grabbed the first thing I could find with a blade, which happened to be a cheap kitchen knife, and sat down on the floor by the hallway wall. No lights, no sound. Just my heartbeat pounding so hard I thought it might give me away. Sleep never came. I just sat there in the dark, eyes burning, knife clenched in both hands. Every little sound outside made my skin crawl. At some point, I stopped checking the time. I just kept staring at the front door, waiting for something to move. And when the first bit of daylight finally slipped through the cracks in the blinds, I bolted to my car. Before I left town, I went to the police station with the photo on my phone. I told them everything. The strange car, the man who kept appearing out of nowhere, and how it escalated until he was standing outside my window, snapping pictures while I was eating. At first, the officer seemed interested. He examined the photo closely and asked a few questions about when I got it. But the moment I mentioned airdrop, his attitude changed. He leaned back, said there was no way to trace it. No sender info, no metadata, nothing. Unless the guy broke in or threatened me directly, they couldn't do anything. It didn't matter that someone had been outside my window, watching me. That photo wasn't enough. They took the report, gave me a safety pamphlet, and told me to call if he came back. I realized I'd spent all that time explaining for nothing. I still don't understand how he managed to track me down or what his real motive was. He knew exactly where I left my car, and he found my apartment without a map. And he didn't just watch me, he made damn sure I saw him watching. Now, every night, I double-check my windows. Every time a car door slams nearby, my heart skips a beat. And when a red Toyota appears in my rear view, I don't dare look back. I just keep driving.